Yes, 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 yes. You might hear some music around right now. So check this out. I don't know how high Bitcoin's gonna go. If you haven't noticed, Bitcoin's been flying today, or been flying this last couple weeks, right? We don't know how high it's gonna go, man. Supply of Bitcoin is so small right now. Unless you really needed the money, I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with taking some off. Nothing wrong with that at all. But man, supply is so small right now. My man James over at Invest Answers, he thinks as much as 1 to 4% of Bitcoin is lost every year. Think about this. Guy's out surfing, dies, out skateboarding, gets in a car wreck, girlfriend throws out his shit. He just gets sick. Like, you got Bitcoin in your will? There's probably tons of people that have died holding shit tons of Bitcoin, 5,000 here, 10,000 there, 100,000 here, a million there. And guess what? Those keys are lost. Nobody knows how to access their shit. And it goes with them. So you can take your Bitcoin with you. Michael Saylor, I put out this tweet today, kind of quoting him. Michael Saylor said, get this, he said, the greatest charity you could give to mankind is to die with your Bitcoin. And at first I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm thinking on that. But think about it, man. If all these people, 1 to 4% you have of destruction or burn of the coin naturally just from people dying, what does that do to us that hold the coin? So as a community, and I know that sounds crazy and I wouldn't advocate this, but let's say you don't have any descendants. Should take the Bitcoin with you. You're just gonna help out the community. It's crazy to think of it. And like, just us dying actually helps the price of Bitcoin. It's crazy, man. I don't know. I don't even know what to think about that. But it is reality. And Satoshi, the creator of Bitcoin, he took 1 million of these with him, man. He's probably dead, or if he exists, or it's probably symbolic for a group of people. I don't know, man. It's kind of cool. It's cool to have this lore. It's cool that you created the world's perfect code, man. The perfect store of digital money. And none of these people around here own Bitcoin. I bet not one of these fuckers own Bitcoin. But you do, or you should. I've been telling you for over a year. And man, I'm late to this game. I'm so pissed that I didn't come to Bitcoin a year ago, 2 years. I was in it. I remember I was buying it at 12,000. And then I'm thinking, man, I started kind of buying into the FUD. And when you're older, dude, I'm 51 years old. I'm gonna be honest, age fucks with you, man. Age will make, and you gotta watch this for yourself. I'm letting that truck do its thing. Look, that's where money comes from, work. People always asking me how to get more money. More work is not complicated. And if you do a lot of work, you get a lot of money, and then you put your money to work, But back to Bitcoin. So, here's another thing about Bitcoin, though. Think about it. That dude over there is homeless. He could have a bank account. You can borrow against your Bitcoin. So when you need money, watch out, this dude's in a hurry. Goddamn, slow down, bro. When you need money, you could go borrow against your own Bitcoin. So you could never sell your Bitcoin. And I mean, when you legitimately need money, like you need to get a car and you ain't got the money, right? What's up, man? You can go borrow against it, and thereby banking on yourself, man. If you're gonna be a person, I'm not really big on debt. You guys know that. I yell at people don't have debt, but I get it. There's times you ain't got no choice. You have a family emergency, you can tap that Bitcoin and not sell your Bitcoin. What other asset can you keep, not have to sell, borrow against, and use it and actually bank on yourself? It's pretty cool, man. It's like betting on yourself. And over the last 10 years, and I'm no crypto expert, don't misunderstand me. I'm just stating the fucking obvious, okay? Like, let's just get real. Let's just talk about the obvious. And the obvious is, over the last 10 years, there's no 3-year period where you're negative. Meaning everyone who's ever bought Bitcoin, anyone who's ever bought this shit and held it for 3 years has been positive. And that is maintained. That has maintained for the last decade. Now we're going into year 11. Does it keep going for the next decade? I don't know. I don't have any way of knowing. Nobody does. They're just opinions. It's just ideas, thoughts, but nobody really knows. You got to create your own conviction. Check this out. Look at that. Looks like money to me. Somebody's making money. That's what that looks like to me. Now, if you took I have a couple people in the money flow trading gang. You guys have taken some of your Bitcoin off and bought real estate. I'm super proud of you. That's a good thing to do, man. You could sell a little Bitcoin and walk away with this and keep some Bitcoin. Take the rent, take the money made from the real estate and start buying Bitcoin back. Listen. Michael Saylor talks about, in corporations, businesses talk about, we're getting to Bourbon Street, it might get loud, carrying Bitcoin on your balance sheet. Bro, you got a balance sheet. And you need to carry assets on your balance sheet. You need to think of yourself as the CEO of you. Why would AT&T or some large corporation give a shit more about their money than you give a shit about you and your family's money? And so you need to think of yourself as like a hedge fund or a fund manager. You're the manager of your funds, the seeds, what God has given you, the universe has provided for you. That's what you have access to. And so you got to be responsible for those things. What's going on back there? Yeah. You got to be responsible for the talents that God's given you. That's right out of the Bible. One guy's given 1, one guy's given 5, one guy's given 10. And when God comes back, he says, hey, what did you do with the 1 that I gave you? And that guy says, well, I didn't want to lose it, so I went and buried it in the backyard. And God says, he's pissed. He's like, bro, I didn't give you 1 to give me 1 back. I gave you 1 to give me 10 back. So he goes to the next guy and says, hey, I gave you 5 talents. What's up? Where's my cut? And he goes, oh, man, I went and multiplied it. Here's 10. He's like, all right, that's good. But then the one guy he gave 10, he turned it into 100. And that was the servant that he was most happy with. A lot of people think God's only happy with the poor, only cares about the poor. Bullshit. He cares about the rich too, man. Don't let those poor suckers teach you that. There's people out there actually kind of teach that idea, like God only cares about the poor. Bullshit. God cares about everybody, man. He's given you stuff, and it's what you do with it. And a lot of those rich people that you have a problem with, they've done better, worked harder, and put in more effort, took more risk, and they will be rewarded because that was what they were supposed to do, so that Sam fucking Walton could provide million fucking jobs for everybody. While everybody sits around bitching about him, he's out there providing millions of jobs, taxes, and all this stuff. Yeah, and they did away with some shit, and yeah, I get it, they do some shady shit, but so do you. So does your uncle and your mother. You think you get a lot of people in your family are liars and doing bad things. Maybe you. So before we pass judgment on the rich, maybe let's make sure our shit's clean, right? Clean your own damn porch before you start bitching about other people's porches. So God created rich people to provide jobs for poor people. He created rich people to provide taxes for all this shit, because the poor, look, the homeless people, they're not paying for any of this shit. They're not paying for any of this shit. So don't act like they're the only ones that are in favor in God's eye. No, man. That stuff pisses me off, but I see it a lot, man. Especially these little socialist bastards we have today. I see it a lot, man. Shit, all their platforms, all these platforms are provided by the rich. People out here trying to make money with Bitcoin, trying to accumulate. A little bit of a contradiction there on a lot of the guys that are into the crypto. They're also these left-wingers. Right, thinking everybody should be taxed. But don't tax my crypto, you know. But I'm getting off on a different tangent. All this shit where do you think this comes from, man? Tech land, right? Right. Look at this house over here. The moral of the story today is, and I hadn't thought much about this, but we could be losing 1 to 4% of Bitcoin supply every year just due to people dying. As this goes further into the future, we don't know how this be. Maybe that comes down because people get smarter, technology gets easier, storing it in wallets, and people start putting it on wheels. I bet almost none of you that are holding 6 figures, 7 figures of Bitcoin have even thought about putting it into a will and actually naming it by name. Like, I would like Larry to get 3 Bitcoins. I'd like Susie to get 1 Bitcoin. I mean, I ask people that, and almost nobody's even mentioned it. I talk to accountants, and I ask them, hey, is anybody bringing crypto? No, nobody's bringing crypto to me. So it's just started. This shit is in its infancy. It's not even barely hitting tax returns. It's not even getting to wills and other such legal documents that all other assets in the world, like people leave bonds to their descendants, they leave real estate, they leave businesses, but this shit is barely talked about being left. And it's just now getting there. Why? Because it's only 5,000 years old. What's up? I'm gonna get shot in the back. Pop, pop, pop. It's a dangerous city, bro. You better have your guard on. I had a guy I almost had to get into it with last night. I look back and he looks at me, his tight on shirt, muscled up, and he's coming up from behind me, and I'm sitting on a stoop like this. I'm sitting on a stoop like that. And I look back, man, to make sure, because he's coming up behind me. I'm on the street at night. And as he comes walking up, I, just kind of look at him. Not mad dogging or anything. I'm just looking at the dude. And as he walks by, I kind of just keep my eye on him. Shit, I don't know this guy. And then he gets in front of me and he stops and he turns around and he looks at me and goes, "Don't be leering at me with those big brown eyes." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Don't be leering at me," and kind of smiles. And I realize, he's kind of flirting with me. And I just laugh. And then he turns to walk, and the lady that I was talking to, the lady and husband, said one time they had a guy do that, he turned around with a knife, man. And what he didn't know is my buddy was sitting there with a pistol in his pocket. Like, he just had it in his pocket. He says when they're out, he takes this little pistol. So that guy pulled out a knife and goes, "Hey, let me have what you have." That's what he said to him. My buddy pulled out a pistol and pointed at him and said, "Why don't you keep walking, homie?" So imagine that. Like, these are just normal people, man, sitting at their house. So this element, any city, I'm sure Los Angeles, New York City, it's got its crime. There's computers in here running, and I'm not quite sure what they do. I am interested. I'm assuming some shit for the city, some trafficking. Look at my man, they're out here hollering at people, trying to get them into restaurants. So this is the famous Bourbon Street, okay? This is where we're at. I'm going to the mailbox right now. So I gotta go through this every day to get to the post office. Fucking Mardi Gras every day. So when you guys order a book and I'm down here in New Orleans house, I'm humping some books right now, man. Appreciate you ordering them, by the way. If you don't have my ebook, my free ebook, hit my bio link. It's right up there. My book, You Don't Have to Die Broke. And let's make sure you don't die broke, right? We talked about the cash wheel last week with how we're gonna get started in stocks. We're gonna add the different assets, REITs. We're gonna add dividend stocks. We're gonna add growth stocks. We're gonna have some crypto. We're gonna get real estate. But you can't do all that in one day. You're not gonna do all that in one day. What you can start doing, it's getting loud now. Woo! So look, why are they doing this? Because it's noon in New Orleans. It's about to start. Bands. Because it's Friday and it's noon. Look at my man. Ain't nobody here got any Bitcoin. I bet they got no Bitcoin. What about these dudes behind me? You think they got Bitcoin? I highly doubt it. So anyway, hit my bio link, man. Get the free ebook. Think hard and heavy on your exit plan for Bitcoin. Trim a little, but keep at least 50%, man. Keep at least 50%, man. God bless you.